Hello and welcome to Exkurogane Blog and Photography. Today I will be sharing with you guys my newest figure photography project featuring Amakuni's 1:7 scale Abigail Williams from 5th Grand Order. I have already reviewed this figure on this channel and I did not have much nice things to say about her in regards to her quality control. But understandably, the quality issues I experienced with her is fairly unusual in the sense that they are a lot worse than what you would normally expect from pretty much any figure manufacturer. So it probably isn't very common, but if you are still curious about her and what's wrong, what to watch out about this figure, check out the link in the description below. There is a review of her there. Moving on to the photography setup itself. So as you can see, this is a rather complex or cluttered setup. A lot of things going on. So there are a lot of miniatures, small soft plushy toys, as if Abigail is collecting a lot of toys. And this entire idea was based on the design of the figure itself. So with this figure of Abigail, she is hugging a plushie. And I made use of that very fact about this figure and created a room for her. A gothic style room for her where it is full of dolls, plushies, toys that she is collecting. So that is the basis of the idea behind this setup. If you were to ask me, are most of the props here made by my own? No. So all of the miniatures you are looking at over here, they were purchased online. In this specific case, I got them off the Chinese commerce website, Taobao. So yeah, it is a bit like buying gashapons or keychains sometimes where they have these small toys attached to it. So there was some effort involved into searching these ultra small miniatures just to acquire them for figure photography purposes. And this is nothing new to me. I have done a couple or 3 similar photography works in the past featuring a lot of small miniatures. All these miniatures, they were fairly affordable, very cheap on its own, but when you buy a lot like this, the cost will stack up. So this is not a cheap photography setup to execute. To add into the cost of the setup, that vanity desk and mirror set, that is a 1:6 scale furniture made by a third-party Chinese company meant for hot toys and 1:6 scale military figurines, action figures. So I acquired them just to use it with Abigail, and in terms of the quality of the prop, I would say it is okay but not that outstanding either. And it is not a cheap one. That vanity mirror desk and chair set cost about 40 or 50 US dollars. And then you can see a chest overflowing with dolls, plushies that Abigail collects. So that chest is actually a jewelry box. So you can consider all those fancy looking beautiful jewelry boxes you see in stores or online and make use of them as a prop for figure photography. And then the furniture behind that large wooden desk, that is actually a bench, a mini bench for potted plants. So that is something I bought from the gardening section of a local store. And then what is on the desk? Yeah, the glass cabinets with objects inside, books inside, that is just Barbie doll furniture that were repainted. Yeah, so overall there is nothing much going on. Most of the props here are purchased. And only the windows you're looking at, the gothic style windows, they were 3D printed on my own. And then the wall is made from PVC foam board with wallpaper. This is just wallpaper. The flooring is very simple as well. It is just a floor mat, a floor carpet floor mat. So when you use a floor mat in a diorama setup, it will look like carpet flooring indoors. Very simple, yet it creates something different. And then yeah, there is that giant globe right there. So the purpose of having that globe right there is to add detail to the scene, and another reason is for the figure to lean on. So Abigail is actually leaning against the chest, the globe behind, and also the small vanity, the chair that comes with the vanity desk. And then comes the main topic to this specific setup. Now if you look at this specific setup, things do not make much sense, right? a lot of things do not make sense. If you look carefully from the top at least, it seems like a lot of objects were cluttered in the middle around the figure, and all of the remaining furniture, they are further behind. So if you walk into a typical bedroom or any room for the matter in someone's house, you will not see furniture arranged this way because it does not make sense. It is too narrow, you can't really walk through such a narrow pathway cluttered with objects being thrown around. So why did I do this kind of setup for this specific photography project? Because it is in the name of composition. So when you arrange a diorama, there are two ways to arrange it. To arrange it for photography purposes, or to arrange it for the purpose of exhibition, displaying it for everyone to see. So when you display a diorama set up for everyone to see, you will want to arrange everything in a manner which makes sense. But for the case of photography where you will be using a 50mm or even longer focal length lens, what happens is that the field of view, what you can see in the scene is fairly limited. It is very narrow. So in order to get as much detail and as much of a diorama scene into the photograph within the frame of the photo, you will have to clump everything together, and this is the result. A lot of things are squished very close to each other. So in real life, it does not make any sense, but the results you get during the photography process is fantastic. So everything gets into the frame and you have to arrange things in a very specific way so that it looks photogenic instead of messy. Before I even began photographing this setup, I would have a camera right in front of the figure with the screen activated in live view, and I would be arranging every single small object very carefully and observing on the back screen of the camera where is the position of that object. So that really took a lot of time just to make sure you get the near perfect composition. With regards to lighting, especially for an indoor setup like this, a room, the best way to introduce lighting is to use the window method. So you literally have a couple of windows in the wall and you will throw light through the window and it shines through. So things will look fairly natural this way, as if sunlight is coming in from a window. Of course, when you do this, the light is directional from one single direction and the other side of the figurine is going to be dark. And you have two options for that. Number one is to use a reflector, place a mirror right here and it will deflect some light back onto the figure. Or number two is to add an additional light on the opposite side. And this is where the manipulation is very important. You do not want that second light to be too bright compared to the one from the window, this side. So yeah, obviously this is a large light source and the one over there is a lot smaller. So I only needed to balance things a bit. And if you can see this large board over here, it is meant to restrict the lighting. If I were to remove it, the foreground, it is too bright in front right here. So this is meant to restrict the lighting so that it does not spill too much and it is only limited to the windows onto the figure. While the lighting is very straightforward, this figure has very glossy, very shiny and reflective eyes, giving me a lot of problems with photography. More than often, the photographs turn out with a white patch in the middle of her eye, and I would rather that not to happen because it will be very difficult to remove it in Photoshop later. So it took me additional time to even adjust the figure and the lights at the right angles so that it does not cause excessive reflection in the scene. This is one of the most challenging things with photographing many figurines, not just this Abigail alone. And then the end result of this setup, the final photograph, looks like this. And as you can see, there are a lot of details, a lot of stuff going on. Yet, your eyes will still be drawn to the main figure in the middle of the scene. And this is only possible when you get the composition right. Getting your composition right means arranging your props properly in the correct manner. And to do so, sometimes you have to not follow common sense, which is the case with this setup. The way I arrange the things do not make much sense if you were to display it for people to see. So yeah, that is all about this photography setup and project. I hope you guys were able to learn something from it and find it informative. If you liked this video, please do consider giving a like for this video and subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you guys again soon.